So question now is Amber a Judas? Or was she just playing the game like everybody else? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lola Shafe. Today we're going to be talking about another episode of Ready to Love. It's going to be season 4, episode 9, and it's called Secrets and Betrayals. Before we start, please remember to hit the like button, like, you make a comment and subscribe. All right, so going into it, we're just gonna, because it was continuation from last week, so we already know what's gonna happen. So it opens up with the episode, this first scene, forgive me, it opens up with the first scene with David, still trying to overtalk Liz, talking about, I guess there's definitely a lot of editing here because it's not congruent, it doesn't flow. But now he's making mention of, he's self-eliminated, but he's coming here to explain without listening to what she wanted to say, because I think she was ready to say, you're not ready to love, sir. Adios, amigos. But he wanted to beat her to the punch. That's a little childish, maybe a little pet, I don't know, but he didn't let her speak. He just kept over talking her, and then tried, when he realized he couldn't manipulate the situation or control the situation, then he tried to lean in to kiss and say goodbye, trying to have some kind of cool exit. It didn't work because she kind of stepped back like, no, that's not what we're doing here. There's something I want to say. Long and short is he didn't allow her to say what she wanted to say. He wanted to get his little piece out to save face. And then he goes on, of course, when someone does the exit, they do the exit interview and everything. So clearly he didn't do an exit interview, and he was just saying as they're walking away, stay away from me. You know what? There's just some, forgive my French, some F-boy shit. I don't know how else to put it, because and this is an issue I've had with before. All what's transpiring right now and that in that moment had nothing to do with God. He's talking about, yeah, man, God, this is the enemy stuff. No, sir. This had nothing to do with Jesus Christ and our Heavenly Father. It's all about you. Some vanity. Your ego was involved. You'd been caught moving mad, and you knew you were about to be eliminated, and decided to crop up this thing about self-elimination. Because I think at this point, everyone's kind of, aware that when they get certain dates, they might be in the elimination dates and they might be in the bottom 2. So that's just my thinking, that he knew someone was up and decided to beat the punch. I'm not, I remember with Troy's exit, I had said that I could give him that he was gracious with his exit. I gave him points for that. And with this, David already lost a lot of points already, but now he's like running like in minus thousands, because not only had he been misbehaving, so he did deserve this elimination, but not even trying to talk, trying to control the elimination the way it ran. You were not self-eliminated. You were going to be eliminated. The decision to eliminate you came before you decided to self-eliminate. That's just my taking. But you know what? Moving on. So, another to be continued date was Ron and Alexis, So they've already been going back and forth, Alexis already told him, talking about how she felt. So he's sensing that he's going to be eliminated. And so, I think she said, you're not ready to love, something like, and I think when she said, I don't think you're ready to love, that's when he goes, yeah, I lost respect for you. I thought you were a little smarter than that. He already been condescending, but decided to go with tone. So, Ron has never been my favorite, but I never saw this side. And that's when you know who people are. You know who people are when things are not going great. When things are down, you get to see their real personality, no longer pretending to be this nice, gracious person. The truth comes out. And immediately for him, he was condescending, but it was also rude, and wearing his best petty boots ever, because then he's like, okay, if I'm leaving, I'm about to blow stuff up. And so first of all, he, I guess trying to dig and put a knife in her back and turn it, or maybe a knife in her chest and turn it. He's like, well, I knew I was done with this yesterday, because I went on a date with Amber yesterday, and we kissed. It was so childish, so juvenile, so kindergarten-like. You could have. I still insist that the most, Dietrich had an almost gracious exit, but Troy's was just like, see you later, I'm still ready to love, and walked out, did his exit interview. You all know he's not my favorite, but his exit was gracious. And it was, with some class. Like Ron, like his homie David, just completely classless, petty, in his ego, in his emotions, in his feelings. Truth is, you found out that, I guess it dawned on you that maybe Alexis had been, let me use the term loosely, playing you. You weren't really the one she wanted. You were her backup. And maybe you'd realize that in real time or prior to that. But still, you're going to be okay. There's no doubt that you're going to be okay, but sometimes the camera makes people want to, square up, what you're going to do about it kind of thing. And so it really took him to a really distasteful left. I wish he hadn't gone. So he goes on to say, yeah, I kissed Alexis and I kissed Amber, excuse me. I kissed Amber and that was unnecessary. If you did or if you didn't, at that point in time, clearly your aim was no longer to be open and transparent, but simply just to hurt because you had been asked to leave. What is this attachment to being eliminated? I know there is some part of, you know, oh man, I've been eliminated, oh, but still, you're not hurting for the money, so yeah, another distasteful exit. Moving on. So we get to the gentleman's lounge because this week is meant to be the guys that are eliminating one of the females, and so they realize that, oh, you know, 2 people are gone. Whoop-de-whoop. No tears here, okay. So, you know, then nephew Tommy says, look, I have a getaway plan. You're going to a ranch, you know. I want you to kind of chisel down and be clear on who your choice is and decisions. Those are those people who had, you know, 2 people, particularly I think it's only Jason has 2 people. Jason who has 2 people, whether it's Liz or it's Kai, he needs to be clear by the end of that weekend. And so everyone's excited. Ooh, you know, nephew Tommy's like, no game. This is just another piece just to emphasize, to make it clear, because the elimination dates weren't very succinct because both characters kind of went off script. So I guess they wanted to emphasize, of course they want to keep with the theme, but also emphasize that 2 guys are now gone. One fake self-eliminated and then one was eliminated. And so I guess that was the point of this scene. Nothing hit people, you know. Just, I think the only thing Joel said, he's like, yeah, he's taking it seriously. He wanted to make his choice or get something in before he gets eliminated. I'm gonna keep this moving. So, scene opens up in the ranch. You know, I think the first people that come, you see Joel, you see Vee, they hug. Clearly there's some tension going on. We're gonna get to that later. You know, Jason comes at the same time as Liz. I don't know if there's a sign for us that maybe this is when it's gonna pick. I don't know, but you know, they meet up somehow. Is this by design? Because I now hesitate to think that anything is perchance now on this show. Everything is designed. So let's leave it at that. So anyway, they happen to meet up first. Next people that come in, then everybody else comes in, you know. And then when Alexis comes in, she's making her aware that she's got, you know, some beef with her girl, you know, Amber, and she want to have a couple words with AJ. It is what it is. And then Kyra, of course, you know, she's coming in talking about how, yeah, Jason's her #1, but yeah, she's still feeling AJ. I think simply put is, it's just my opinion. Can I put like the, you know, disclaimer, flash, boom, 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 Lola's opinion. I'm not saying it's real life, but I think at this point it's, you know, honestly, I feel AJ is her first choice, but she don't trust him because he's got to play a vibe. He's not serious yet. He doesn't appear to be in that space. Yes, he's older than Jason, but he does not appear to be in that space to be ready to commit. And so Kyra's not going to be left holding the short end of the stick. So she has made Jason her #1, but truly her interest lies with AJ. Now she sees somebody pegging for AJ. She sees, you know, the little cookie she left on the floor. She's gone back and wants to pick it up and take. She's picked it up. Now she's trying to decide she wants to take a bite of the cookie. That's what it looks like to me. So the fact now that Alexis is gunning solely for AJ is now sparked up Kyra's, we're human beings, what can I say? Has now sparked up Kyra's interest or re-interest back into AJ. She doesn't want to give him up. And of course, you know, her interest definitely sparked as well because it appears that maybe even AJ's, you know, supposed attention has been somewhat a little shifted. And of course, Kyra's noticing that too. Well played, sir. But we know he's got the playbook in his house, you know. You know, some people have the playbook in their basement. Sometimes they borrow it. He has a playbook in his basement, and he uses it. Maybe he rents it out to his homies, but he's got the playbook. Well played, sir. Kyra's interested again. She hasn't given up yet. But the truth is, sir, if you were sincere and if you were in the right space, you wouldn't have to play all these games. Because truth is, to most of the ladies, they find you attractive, and the one you're interested in finds you attractive but doesn't trust you. So if you're simply the better version of yourself, you wouldn't have to play on these games. But anyway, this is not, you know, fix my life. Yana, fix my life here, I'm just saying. All right, so going on. So Amber, you know, she has a little conversation, talk about how, yeah, you know, Chris KG has remained in her top because he's, you know, they have open and honest conversation. He's consistent. I think this will be addressed later, but yeah, sure. Okay. All right, so we're at the ranch. Everyone's seated. And then, you know, the girls are having a little kiki, you know, there's Kyra, there's V, and then, you know, Kyra's asking V about how's it going with Joel, how's everything going, you know. V's consistently saying he's my number one, I'm secure where I stand with him, and I'm happy and so Joel conveniently saunters over to, you know, I'm doing the Joel thing, saunters over, hey baby. So he comes over because he says he heard his name. And, you know, the question now is, you know, where you at? And he's, you know, where you secure at? He's just, you know, beating around the bush, going around in circles, and of course V kind of pins him down. Where you at? He said he's strong, he's secure with his strongest connection. And she said, who's that? Then he's on the gameplay. But sis, my good sis Amber, had been put on assignment, and she understood her assignment. Here goes. Apparently, Petty Boots Ron had told her some information about, you know, the former gentleman's lounge, where all the guys, you know, when Cara brought all of them to the yard, her milkshake brought all of them to the yard. So, you know, Amber's now holding that information. She figured, yeah, she's not gonna let, you know, homie, you know, Joel, get away with it. There's some questions to whether she knew he hadn't told her, or whether she just wanted to blow stuff up. You know, she understood her assignment, so here goes. So, you know, being that, you know, Amber is an attorney, I'm gonna put it like this. So the prosecution came forward and said, we have new evidence we'd like to present to the judge. Sir, can we present the information? The judge says, please go ahead. Here goes. So, you know, then she asked Joel that, yeah, so, you know, I heard that you'd, you know, picked Kyra as your number one. Is that true? Boom, boom, boom. So Joel is mad. Let me talk with you. Sir Joel. Oh, I think people say Joel, so I've been saying your name wrong. Maybe that's a sign. So Sir Joel, but I'm still gonna stick with Joel though. You know, it's been 2 weeks since you guys have had this elimination. Why is it that you did not think it would be appropriate to let your number one, V, know what had transpired? With the knowledge, one, that it could get to her, or more importantly, two, she would see it once it was live. Because you know the lounges will be shown. Whether you were in your emotions, whether in your feelings, whether you were feeling petty, whether you really didn't feel whatever it is that you felt, it would have behooved you to let her know so she wouldn't be blindsided by this information. And she was blindsided. She was presented with new information, she had no idea. So in her mind, she's been secure with you from day one, only to find out that 2 weeks prior, and you had to be prompted. You weren't even prompted. It was blurted out in front of you. She finds out that actually no. When you were asked if you had to leave tonight, who would you pick? You would mention Kyra's name. And, you know, this is the question here. When people talk about relationships there with a guy, sometimes there's this, I don't know if there's a lack of understanding or it's because they don't care. There's a lack of understanding. This was going to get out one way or another. Did you not think you needed to save her some, you know, embarrassment by giving her a heads up so she could have her head up high when people throw that information in her face? Because who's to say that Amber wasn't trying to blow stuff up between two of you because maybe she feeling you a little bit? I don't know, because you all had an interesting date. Word is you had 2 dates, but we're not going to go about that yet. So, yeah, why is that? Why did it not make sense? Because, you know, what should have been like a prompt to him too was when he heard David mention that Liz had pulled him to a side the night it happened to tell him this is what happened. The good sense to tell him, yo, this will happen between me and Jason, but you're still my first choice. That should have been a prompt or a reminder, yo, let me go hold up my girl V. I can tell her this off camera, whatever the case may be, so she would, you know what was going on. All right. So we're continuing. So the girls sit outside, they're, clearly Seagram's is sponsoring everything now, So, they're having the drinks, girls talking, they're trying to, so they talk about how they're trying to re-chisel, what's going on, their goals, clarity, connection, clear view, making up their mind. And my good sis Alexis is hating on Kyra, because Kyra is still saying, yeah, I like this, but I like this. I mean, you can like fish and chicken at the same time. Why are you trying to make the sis choose? I'm being facetious here. But yeah, so, but clearly this is coming from a, she's hating a little bit. Like she wants, I guess she's hoping that Kyra would let go of AJ and stick with Jason. Kyra isn't going for that. And Kyra's saying, I'm not just going to settle because someone's choosing me now. And also Essence too, the person who's her number one is also, flapping in the wind between her and Liz. So it wouldn't be wise just pick one and run with it. You keep doing too, like other guys have done in other seasons. Don't let go. Just keep doing you. I'm not mad at you. So anyway, Alexis is, yeah, understandably so. You know what? Alexis is a little, I mean, she's feeling threatened. We know she's a game player. We know she wants to win. And now she's flapping like her backup is gone. And so she has only one thing. And she knows she's not very secure with her backup. Oh, right. Her backup's gone. So we now know she's not very secure with the front runner, AJ. You know, so she says these things, you know, just salacious things about Kara. Well, they're not necessarily salacious. She's an attorney, so she's saying Kara's, you know, she's good at Monopoly, she's playing chess, she's strategizing. Nobody cares, because so you've done the same thing. Like you've done the same thing. I'm not even gonna, because we're gonna go further on. You've done the same thing. So why are you hating at someone playing the game just like you? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Moving on. So what I thought was interesting to mention was, I think while the ladies were talking, the guys were talking inside, and Jason and AJ happened to have a conversation. So what's significant to mention is, you know, when Jason and AJ were having a conversation inside, and you know, Jason, I think, starts the conversation. He's saying it's important for him to bring it up, that he's realized that, you know, Kara may say one thing, but he seems another. So I think he's aware that Kara might be saying that he's her number one, but he also sees that, you know, there's still an interest in AJ. Oh, that's cute of you. You know, that's definitely succinct. It's true. And then AJ is also saying the same thing. AJ is saying that, you know, she is saying Jason, but there is room. AJ in his, I think it was in his confessional, he's saying that, yeah, he has not pursued anyone. And I have to agree with, yeah. He said has not pursued anyone else. I agree with you, sir. You haven't pursued anyone else. You did an okay job of trying to pursue Kara, which is why she's not really jumping on your side of the fence. And then in terms of Alexis, you've only just you've been nursing your backup. You know how you nurse a cold? That's how I've been nursing his backup. He hasn't pursued Kara.
Alexis.
He only comes with a touch thing when he's trying to, you know, manipulate the situation, control the situation, cut down the conversation. But he hasn't pursued
Alexis.
So that's what some of the truest things you said. So anyway, you know, there's a horse riding date. It's Jason, it's Liz, Kyra, and AJ. That's it. That's all I have for you. That's all about that date. Just looked really awkward, you know. Yeah, just awkward date. Moving on. So finally we get to the Vee and, you know, Joel conversation, where, you know, they really need to discuss. So, sir, you picked Kyra. What's up? Like, communicate with me. You know, when you went to cop to what you did on your stuff, either say what it was or say what it wasn't. Say something, but don't just, you know, play around. And it just seems like his approach or his attempt at apologizing or fostering conversation was really weak and seemed unlike the person we've been led to believe he is from this up until this point. He's always seemed like, you know, smooth, communicate, keep it real, from Louisiana, he knew all his boy, baby. Now this really seemed like, I don't know, just seemed different from who we as the audience thought he was. Because he knows he's messed up. We know that he's now been caught in the mess he's created, and can't just openly say, you know what, I did because of and I'm sorry, or that, whatever it is. She's not gonna stop you from eating, so you get eliminated. So what? I don't know. So it's just that and so it now makes me think. So my real question was, you know, was he really in this situation? Was he really? Because he keeps saying to her, like, you know, that was my truth, and that's how I felt that moment. So the question here is, was he really willing to dump the relationship over an argument that they had? Or was he just trying to be done with the relationship because he had lost interest? Because, yeah, I'm looking at Joel with a side eye, but there's still some things in him that are still there. Good qualities, and nobody's all bad and nobody's all good. Great people, good people do bad things or do things that don't make any sense. We all know this. This is not new. So it's like, I'm not going to completely, you know, wash him with black paint, but I'm going to say that, and this is the whole point of dating someone with intention. You begin to see some of the things that you need to see if they're just like deal breakers or things you think you need to, let me pay attention to this. That's the point of when they say, I definitely agree now, when when people say just date. Don't Netflix and chill. Don't go upstairs to this is where the magic happens room, or the boom boom room, whatever you want to call it. Don't do it. Just date. Get to know this person, how they move, how they think, how they tick. So stuff will start becoming apparent to you. And now stuff is becoming apparent. Because I think by most, we'll say Joel is a great guy. Easy on the eyes, seems to have like fun personality, warm energy. There's a kindness, there's a this, there's that, that is still there. But in this instance, in this situation, he's moving mad. It's not good luck for him or for anyone right now. And there is some compassion for most of us, for V, who's remaining loyal. I'm not saying, because some people have said in some chats that, yeah, we're saying that V's, the angel Gabriel. Nobody said that. But we're looking strictly at the situation, strictly at the clips we're given, strictly at the edit we're provided. And that's how we make our commentary. Once again, this is just for entertainment purposes, We're not going to take this to heaven. Everybody chill, relax, let's have fun. So anyway, moving on. So the question now is, does Joel really still have interest in her? Or is he just still kind of doing a little sprinkle pull back because he wants to see how far he can get to the final? Because they're almost in the final. So he don't have to do that much. But what needs to happen is V needs to clock what's going on and open her eyes. Like Nigerians say, shine your eye. But anyway, so that conversation didn't go very well. Joel's pride, I want to say, did not allow him to, when you mess up, like, and we all do this, when you mess up real bad, where you know that, look, the assignment after you've messed up like that is just to grovel. Say, I'm sorry, I'm big. To regain your stance. His pride, and maybe because the camera's rolling, did not allow him to say, hey, baby, I'm sorry, I messed up. I was mad, I was being childish, I was being, like, even if I was, I'm okay, maybe don't lie. But whatever, he could see, he couldn't tap into it. He couldn't do it. He was hinting at it. He would do that, scurry back. Like, so it was a really stupid conversation. V got a little annoyed, walked out to her ladies, sounded mad, and then KG, which is purposely that little fella he does, comes in like, dude, you need to own your stuff and really let her know that you're sorry, because she knows now. You should have told her, you didn't tell her. Now you just have to clean up the mess you've created. Good advice, holding another brother accountable. Good one, KG. I'm happy for you. Just, I guess his point was, just assure her of your intentions. Be accountable. I guess maybe the reason why he can't assure her of his intentions, because his intentions have fizzled. It's all speculation, but, because, yeah, Joel is not, he doesn't seem to be like a cowardly kind of man. He doesn't appear to be that. So usually when stuff doesn't make sense, that means we don't have all the information. We don't have all the information. We don't have all the information as to why he can't apologize properly once and for all. See how it goes. What happens if that comes up to the light. So we'll soon know. Moving on. All right. So we have the Liz and the Jason. Like what they're like the episode of Mills and Boons, or those romance stories, because they always have these romantic little scenes. It's funny. Either they don't show us the scenes like that with Kyra, or maybe he's not having scenes like that with Kyra. I don't know. But anyway, so they have a little evening stroll to the gazebo and they sit down. And it's just windy, whatever, Houston weather. It's meant to be cold at that time. And what's consistent with Jason is that he definitely puts it in to create romantic scenarios, romantic dates for both of his ladies. They get touchy-feely, we all know this, they acknowledge, or he's acknowledging the bond, or they both do. But one thing I thought was important to mention is how he says that Liz brings him, or allows him to be at peace. And that's half the battle right there. And I felt some sincerity in that statement. Because, I've been looking at him side, but I did feel some sincerity. I do feel that he kind of does like both. And at this point, at first I thought that, yeah, he was, hell-bent on Kyra. He was done with, Liz. But ever since that, the budget convo with Kyra's ex, he'd been like, it was shaky. I don't know if that's changed or it's just going to come back and it's just how they created the shots together to make us think what isn't. But it seems that they do have you know, they do have a bond. He's been consistent with her. So anyway, long and short, you know, she talked about she feels like she's a princess in a dream. And then he moves in for the kiss. They have a little passionate kiss. Blah, 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 blah. So I think they definitely appear to have great chemistry and have these great moments, but being in the moment never makes a relationship. A lot of, you know, folks that do the Netflix and chill thing, you know, Netflix and chill, you know, I'm sure they will say that there are a lot of passionate moments, but it never did create a relationship. So that doesn't tell us any more than what we already know. One another statement that he did make was something about he had promised himself that he wouldn't kiss her until he knew where he stood. A good noble gesture, but he didn't carry it out. So, I mean, is that poor impulse control? I don't know. You know, it was a cute little scene, but it doesn't tell me any more than what I already know. You know what I think? This triangle between these three, someone's gonna come out hurt, and that's sad. That's what I think. I think I've come to the point. That's what makes me kind of like about it. Somebody's gonna be hurt. I'm not beefing with Jason or anything, but I just don't like how it's playing out. Someone's going to get hurt. So Joel and Vee have their second attempt at the apology. You know, I think while he's cooking, she's helping him dice because she cares. I care, you care, we care. We all don't really care. We want you to be accountable and apologize. That's what we care about. So anyway, so finally he comes out. He's able to get it from here, like, and he, you know, apologizes, and he admits there was a resistance to apologizing first. You know, all right. You know, Sherlock, like, we could see there was resistance. We just didn't know why the resistance was there. But I think to note here is, I feel like Vee shouldn't just want an apology. She should want to know what led him to behave like that. What would stop him from doing that next time? She doesn't know what led him to do that. Because he has failed to create stability or confidence in their, I don't want to call it relationship, in their dating. So even with the camera being there, which is usually another level of accountability, he hasn't been accountable. What is he going to do when the camera's not rolling? Is he going to just decide that certain indiscretions or certain moments it's just not important for her to know, and then she's going to find out on the streets? That's the question. So yeah, he's apologized finally, but that shouldn't be just what she wants. Hence, note for all of us, there's certain things like that. It's like, sometimes, you know, is it sorry enough? Yeah, sure, by all means apologize, but understand this. That's why it shouldn't just be searching for an apology, but sometimes understanding the why. Because now, you know, we all do these things. We all do things that don't make sense when we hurt people. Where people hurt people. Not just hurt people, but just generally, we just tend to hurt each other. We interact with each other, someone does something, someone gets hurt, and then just like a cycle. But the thing is, I think when you're going forward, there should be an understanding as to how did that happen, so you can see it. If you can see it, if it approaches you again, because yeah, I mean, it's still. He says he didn't tell her because he felt she didn't need to know. I don't understand why he felt so. That just makes us feel like, you know, when the camera stopped rolling, how much more will he feel that she doesn't need to know? Vee clocked this. That's all. Because if the one thing to hold him accountable, the guys and the camera, didn't hold him accountable until he was like smushed to the camera, like, tell the truth. That's when he's finally telling the truth, but with pressure. What will he do when that element is not there? And that's for us to know that sometimes we want something, you know, we can see the signs on the wall, we can see the red flags, but we want it to work so bad that we do this. And then when we're in it, then we open our eyes. It's a little late. It's not too late, but still, it defeats the purpose, and it might make more sense to open your eyes. Why? And not to say you can dispose of someone because the situation happens, but be clear why it happened and have a complete resolution, you know, have a real conversation, so you can actually feel assured. She said she's good, she's happy with, yeah, maybe she feels, you know, maybe appeased temporarily with the apology, but that will not erase then, you know, how she feels about it. She doesn't feel confident about the situation, and she doesn't feel stable. So AJ and Alexis, they have their conversation. So what Alexis is trying to tell us is that you know, after, you know, she had a little thing with Ron, she wanted to, you know, lean on his shoulder and hook up with him and just have a talk, kiki, and like, oh, can you imagine what Ron did? Okay, let me explain something. So she's feeling neglected. But sis, AJ is only using you as his backup. He's not invested in you. He's not interested in your feelings. He's not interested in what's going on with you. He's just playing the game. That's why you had little texting looking for him and he didn't reach out to you, because he doesn't care. That's just my opinion. And I think, you know, I feel like, you know, Alexis is playing catch up. She wants to do like a 4-year degree in a few days. She wants to do a 4-year degree. She wants to do law school. She wants to pass the bar all in 1 week. You can't make up for lost time because you spent a lot of time, you know, nursing the Ron thing, and he was your backup anyway. So it's that you nursing it now, you want to try and get all of that and have, you know, AJ replace what Ron was for you. Your secure win as well, because you do like him. It doesn't work like that. And AJ, rightfully so, I'm not here to judge him, he's not going to succumb to the pressure. He's not succumbing to the pressure. He's telling her, calm down, take a chill pill. And he's just like, and I don't feel like he's gaslighting her. He's just like, he's never misrepresented himself. So what you're expecting from him, he's never given you. So why are you upset that you're not getting it? I think that's where he's going with. He's not saying it with the words, but that's with his actions. Because he's like, what? Were we talking every day before? No. So why would we start talking now? Because now you're facing him a little bit, and maybe because he's using his back, you're both kind of facing each other. Yeah. And you know, there's something she says, something about feeling a strong connection with him. Is there a strong connection between them? I think she asked it like a rhetoric question. She knows the answer. She knows the answer, but she wants to convince herself otherwise. That what she sees is not the case. She knows, which is the reason why she felt some kind of way. I'm trying to reach your account. She knows. Dare I say, we know. Put yourself in that situation. Could have been there before. Someone you're trying to reach, you're like, maybe his helicopter got jammed in a tree. Maybe his phone fell and rolled 4 times, and all these maybes. We kind of already know the answer, but we hang on to that hope of what the future could look like with this person. Bury red flags, but the red flags always come up, but we bury them, and so that's what's going on. Alexis is sharp and she's smart and she's quick, so she already knows the answer to what's bothering her. But I think part of it is not just because she's ignoring it, but I think it's also because she's playing to win. She wants to be in the final, so this might be part of the reason why she's ignoring those red flags and trying to, you know, fix it. All right, so the final scene. At the ranch, you know, they have dinner. Joel has cooked for them, and so they decide to play. Kara comes up with this smart idea to play truth or dare. So I think, who was the one that dared? Yeah, somebody dared Joel and Vee to have a kiss, and they said make the kiss 10 seconds. If any of us were confused as to what was going on, or the dismantling of their if there was a connection between Vee and Joel, this scene should make things very clear. Okay, so the kiss was awkward, like that. That's all I have to say. I don't know if I want to use the term lacked passion or passionless. Which one is more to emphasize? So next, truth or dare, you know, someone asking Jason about, you know, who, you know, so we know who's top 2 and who did he want more, and he took a shot. And so Kyra was like, you've mentioned before that I was your top, but maybe he had mentioned that in the absence of Liz. Both of them are present now, so he's not ready to commit. I don't know if that shows a change of mind or if he's just trying to play it safe. You know, Jason moves like that. Liz, her truth was, you know, she had been changed by the whole experience, but changed for the better. to the main scene for the ranch. So, question comes to Kyra, I guess, because we're talking to both the people attached to AJ. So Kyra came first, then the question came to Alexis. So Alexis decided it's good time. She's gonna fire. She brought out her AK-15. I said she's gonna start firing shots, real shots, because she wants to draw blood. So she talks about her, because I'd asked her, how did the elimination date go with her and Ron? She's like, yeah, he was rude, he was condescending. And she turned to Amber like, and he told me that he went out on a date with you and y'all kissed. I think you were Judas and da. Apparently, I don't think it had been made apparent to us, but apparently behind the scenes, these two had actually been pretty good friends. And there's something Kojo said that struck me, because I was like, they're good friends. So one, why is Ron going out on a date with her good friend? Two, yeah, why he kissed her good friend if this was his top, and not tell until the elimination date. And then Kojo mentioned about when a guy is trying to get you, trying to make a point, trying to complete the kill. You know how in Hunger Games, like you have to do the kill shot to the chest mass like this. I think there's a little square. If you want the kill shot for Ron was going out with Amber and then kissing her and then letting, Alexis know. I don't know why Amber was surprised. So what happens is like I don't know, she thought, so now I'm thinking like this, like Ron went on a date with her, more or less to create some damage. Not because he liked her, not because he was into her, and she was merely just a tool of warfare. She was a casualty of war. Well, no, she still got her little number 1 kg, but yeah, she was used as a weapon against Alexis. That don't make anybody feel good. So when she hears say just like, whoop, she's looking. And then once again, they stop everything. But yeah. So question now is Amber a Judas, or is she just playing the game like everybody else? Because it does seem like when the guys are dating the same person, they don't have this, and the guys do seem to have the good guy code bonding together, but it don't seem like when AJ and Jason were having the conversation, there didn't seem to be any bad blood between them, even though they both wanted the same girl. So it's like, I don't know, with the females it's just different. It's like real uncomfortable. So really, question is Amber a Judas, or is she just playing the game? No hate, real talk, because it's a dating show, right? It's a game show. It's about the game, it's not about dating. We clear on this. So am I really gonna call Amber a Judas? Stay tuned next week. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Remember to like this video, make a comment, subscribe. Lola, over and out. Thanks.